that phrase, isn't there? The truth will out. You know, it's a famous phrase. Doesn't matter what you do, what you say, eventually the truth comes forward. And that really is the problem. Now, when you think about it with Prince Harry, you know, there's a lot of myth truths, are there not? You know, it's their version of events. As we told you many times on the show, I did actually quite like the phrase that Oprah Winfrey coined, you know, your truth, your version of events. And that's now the problem, as you can imagine, because with Prince Harry, there is a big issue regarding, of course, his ongoing battle for his visa. It's not going away. And no matter what he says or does, well, that really is the problem. But you see, there's one person gunning for him, and it looks like this particular person could soon have more power than even he possibly thought. Let me explain. Good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you as ever. Thank you so much for joining me today. You all right today? Absolutely. We're feeling all right, aren't we? Fine and dandy. By the way, this particular house behind me here in Yorkshire is one of a former, shall we say, stately home. It's now the local library. But there is a beautiful picture online of the master alongside his servants in around about the 1800s, all sat outside. Imagine. And the only servants I would have would be cardboard cutouts. I mean, you kind of think, imagine having people looking after you. You thought I had? No, it's just me. That's the problem. You've got servants. You see, I could whiff the money through the camera. You can smell money, can't you? Education, class and power. That's the lovely audience that we have watching this particular show. Now, let me explain this problem now for Prince Harry, because this is rather serious, as we know. He's managed once again to sidestep that big thorny problem of his visa application form. This was because earlier this year he revealed all about his drug-addled past, drinking, cocaine, you know, everything that he placed inside that book. And one would suggest, well, how on earth did he manage to get a visa to enter into the United States? Was there really one rule for one and one for another? And that really is the bigger story. That's the problem, isn't it? Now, what is interesting when you see the bigger story, the issues, are simply this, because as we now know, the presidential race is really mounting up. And it does look like the 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, could be back on track. I mean, there's also rumours that Michelle Obama, come November time, might throw her hat into the ring, as they say. And a lot of people are simply ruling out the world of Joe Biden. As one can imagine, it must be quite tough at his age to keep battling through all the problems that running a country do encounter. But for Donald J. Trump, as you can imagine, he's a man with a vendetta. It was openly known that Meghan Markle refused to meet him at that Buckingham Palace reception, leaving Harry to do the honours. And then, of course, in the chat show, she let it be known she wasn't too keen on him. Topping all of that, the secret recording where Prince Harry said at least we should give him a chance. You can understand a man like Mr. Trump, who doesn't suffer fools gladly, will be making sure that he thoroughly investigates the background to the former royal, friend of the Queen or not. Now, what I can tell you, all thanks to a very close source, is simply this. That's correct. If he does return to office, he will make sure publicly that Prince Harry's documentation regarding his visa will be that, literally made into the public domain. Now, whatever Harry claimed on that documentation, perhaps at that point, he might want to return to Canada. Maybe he will go and live in Japan, Tokyo, like he said earlier this year. But either way, Mr. Trump is gunning for him. And the bottom line is, can you truly blame him given the treatment they gave him so far? Truly, it's a developing story. But if I was Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, I'd make sure you got a photostat of that original visa application form. One way or another, the public domain is coming for you. Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.